Hello, and welcome one more time to everyone watching my streams. My name is Eric, probably know that, and a lot of you have been asking me about my add-ons, and I wanted to make a step-by-step guide to cover all of the add-ons that we got going on for us on our interface, and I can promise you, if I can do it, you can do it too. I will show you all of my configs. You can have most of my stuff. If you're in-game, you can just whisper me. If you find me somewhere in any city, you can ask for stuff like, for example, my ElvUI settings, because these can be imported in-game. But we'll take it one by one. Today we're going to deal with Details, a very important add-on that is a combat log add-on. You can see it right here on the side of my screen. It's right there. Again, the name of it is Details, which is kind of confusing to look for it, but you can. I will remind you that you can download these add-ons from the Tauri website because they have the same core. Stormforge and Tauri have the same devs or almost the same devs. So any add-on that you download for Tauri WoW is going to work on Stormforge. Other sources could be curseforge.com. Just remember to download the correct add-on. You can also check out the Discord for more information. Let's see what this looks like. Well, because I've already installed it, there's a click wheel here that I can click that will take me to settings. But if you're on your first install, you could go to interface, add-ons, and there it is, details. I will also pause here for a second in case you want to see a full list of all of the add-ons that I use. Not all of them are loaded into this main character of mine. For example, I'm not using Farm HUD, but this is a good list of things if you want to make your interface look like mine or have the same functionality. Now, let's go to the options panel, and I'll just, oh, I accidentally closed it. I wanted to have only one window. There we go. And I'll take you through what you need to know here. I'm going to skip the things that are super complicated and that I didn't touch anyway, so you don't lose out on anything. So I didn't touch anything on plugins. I didn't touch anything on chat viewer, encounter breakdown. You can check these things for individual encounters. Like for example, if you do Addon, you can see, for example, all of the emotes that we had from our latest TOT heroic run. Yeah. But technically speaking, you don't really need to do that. Here is where you will have some graphs of when bosses casted spells. The problem with these advanced settings here on the top where it says plugins is Stormforge has a different Lua coding right now than retail. So some of this stuff just flat out doesn't work. You don't need to. We're here to see these numbers that you see here. So for that, we're going to go directly to options and we'll start with display. These are my settings. My update interval is very, very, very small, but this will eat a lot of RAM. This add-on can eat like 150, 200 megabytes of RAM because I have it updated very dynamically, like I'm watching the stock exchange. So if you don't have a lot of RAM for a 12-year-old game, you can definitely increase the interval and it's going to update slower. Like bars are going to increase and decrease a bit slower. Okay, how many window amounts do I have? I have 3 windows. Why do I have 3 windows? Well, you can see the titles on the right. I have damage done, healing done, and damage taken. A lot of the times if I have healers watching my streams, they just want to see the healing numbers and they want to see when people pop CDs for healing purposes. A lot of you just watch it for DPS. And I think damage taken is also kind of interesting in case you're tanking and you want to compare like damage done to damage taken ratios. You can tell when people start getting spiky damage if you just watch the videos closely. I didn't do anything with the avatars here. You can have a 3D avatar and stuff, but that's just absolutely silly and we don't care about that. This is just not something that I really want to do. It's you can do a lot of stuff here. So not for me. Not for me. This is not something that I work with. 3 windows, update interval. Here we have wheel speed. Like for example, if you have a lot of lists of things that you've done. Unfortunately, I just did a lot of training dummies to test some weak auras, so I don't have previous fights. But if you have like a long list, like if you're 25 in a raid, maybe you can want to increase the wheel speed to something else so you can scroll easier through the list here. Number format, I'm using TOK2, so it's shortened with a K at the end. Numeral system, it's Western. That means you have 10.5K damage. You can also go to Eastern Asia, where it's going to be 10,5K damage done. Erase data, I have it manually just in case, so I don't lose anything, but there's an X button here. Yeah, and you can just press X and it's going to ask you, do you want to like delete everything? See? And it does exactly that. I've deleted every segment that I had because it was only target dummy problems here. All right, this is for the display purposes. PvE or PvP, you can flag it so it only remembers PvP encounters, like when you kill people where you get damaged by other players, or PvE encounters. I also have it set up to advanced damage taken, but here it's not going to show anything because, again, unfortunately, my logs are empty. I have this set to maximum, death events amount, but don't get fooled. This is not going to work. Sometimes you will have 0 death logs when people die in your raid. 10, 25, doesn't matter. Sometimes there's nothing. This is very important. I only want to keep raid bosses segments. The problem with that, because you're going to ask, then why do you have so many training dummies logs? Is because the Raider's training dummy here that you would test normally for your DPS purposes and stuff is literally marked as a boss. So whenever you hit this thing to test your damage, it's going to save the segment. Death log minimum 1. Imagine if you're doing PvP and you're playing like versus a Windwalker and he has Touch of Death, which is an execute. You could basically ignore that completely if you really want to have like a really, really good tracking of the healing that you got or the healing that was required to keep you alive. But this is mostly for PvP purposes. Very rarely is this any use for PvE, so I have it set to 1. Battlegrounds, show all. I have no idea why I have this. I just don't do battlegrounds, so I never bothered to change it. Tooltips. Tooltips are what you see when you hover here. And you see those pop-up windows on the top. Yeah? These are tooltips. You can copy my settings. This is Fritz Quadrata TT. I said TT, that's nice. You have the abbreviations and stuff like that. That's good. And you can also increase, for example, the font size. So when you go and you hover, they can just become much larger. Hold on, I need to actually damage something because this is getting kind of annoying. I don't have any segment. It's gonna be really, really annoying. Just overall setting options panel. What did I do wrong here? There we go. Current segment. Sorry, I spaced out for a second. It's a very complicated add-on, right? Don't judge me. All right, so you see now that my tooltip, when I hover this, is enormous. So we have to go down to 20. That was my original settings. Please bear in mind that I'm playing on 1440p. I have a huge monitor, so if you import or copy these, you might have to change the settings and change the sizes of this thing. That's going to be better. Data feed. Whatever. I have no idea. Data broker. Like this is way too much. I don't know how to do any of this. I'm not, I'm not raiding with a professional, like sweaty guild. I don't know. And of course, you can save profiles. I did this on the PTR. That's why it's public test realm MoP, and I just kept it for everything else. Skin selection, minimalistic. Every single time you see something that you like, guys, I'll give you a hint. It's minimalistic. This is the texture of the bars that I want. You see how smooth this, blue line is that I'm highlighting right now? It's because the texture of it is minimalistic. This is what we save. As per usual, you can just copy everything. Bars, general, texture, minimalistic, color by player class. This is important. You see that the bar changes color. Background, texture, minimalistic. Color, here we also have fade away. You can make it faded more or less basically based on what you need. I think I had it on 15. Should probably check that before I do that. The reason why I want it to be transparent here is because I kind of want to see if things are coming from the side, like you can see where the dummy is at. I want to see if mobs are coming from the side, and that's why I do it. I do not use color by player class because this is just the background. Yeah, so that's not important. Icon file, here I have specialization, so you can tell I'm an elemental because I have this cute little icon on the left that tells you that I am an elemental shaman. There are also other things that you can do that are kind of annoying here. Like you could also make the color of the text here, of the damage text, be player class, but that is absolutely insane because this would also be blue and you couldn't see anything. I think white on a colored background is very legible. If you guys have anything else to say, this is the moment. I have a bit of settings of height and spacing here for the bars. Again, these are the bars right here. Other things to look out for. I have bar growth direction top to bottom. So the top DPS is going to always be on the top because this is DPS counting stuff and it's going to grow down. The orientation is also left to right. If you want to move your details windows, for example, to the left of your screen, you will have to change this orientation right to left so they grow towards the left. The other thing is descending. As usual, top damage is first and it grows like from top to bottom. The same thing with healing done, top healer goes first, and the same thing for damage taken. Top damage taken goes first. Usually those are the most interesting numbers. These are my settings for the text, 20 font, PT sans narrow. It's kind of important for me to select outline. You might not be able to tell right now, but it's incredibly important to have a little bit of outline. Yes, a little bit of outline is going to make a huge difference. Look at my name right now. I don't know if it's going to show up on the video, although I have a lot of upload speed, so it should be pretty good quality, but it's a bit more legible if I put a list, like at least a 1 pixel outline color on the text Eric Barrick. That's what I'm doing right now. It's on and off, and it's a little bit easier to read. Other things that are important here is the text on the right also has a little bit of outline. If you look at the damage numbers, it's easier to read if they have 1 pixel. One thing I don't do is color by player class because then I'll have blue on blue. Nobody can read shit. I don't know what psychopath wants to have damage numbers according to player class, but he needs to be checked out. If you have a friend like that, please take him to a psychiatrist. White on a colored background is good enough for everyone, I think. Do not mess with anything else. You can also check the separators here, but why would you? It's legible as it is. You can also add percentage, but why would you? Because it kind of just, how do I put this? It really clouds up the space. You see, like if I had longer name, or if I'm doing like triple number digit, like DPS, like over 100k, then you wouldn't be able to tell what the hell is going on here. It would be impossible. So I do not recommend percentage. This is good enough. People generally get a better idea of how much damage they do if they see flat numbers, to be honest with you. Percentage is not that impressive. It's a huge difference if you're doing 14% of the raid damage versus if you're doing 10% raid damage. It's not just 4% difference. It's huge, but the flat numbers look better. Other than that, there's an option here somewhere. I'll find it in a second. Bar advanced. Always show me. So if you're a shit DPS, you can always have this ticked. And it doesn't matter if you're in a 25-man raid or a 40-man raid and you're doing like Undasta or Nalak or something like that. No matter how bad your DPS is, you will always be the final bar. How many rows you have set this up, for example, for the damage done window, you will always show up. It's not going to just cancel you out. So if you're really interested in seeing what your progression is, but you're not playing, top damage class, you can tick this and you'll always show up. I'm going to have to do that soon because Elemental is not that great. Let me tell you that. No 3D models, no 3D models, no this other thing you don't care. Title bars, these are my settings. Oswald, notice that the font is different from the title of the bar, which is damage done, versus the name of the player, which is Eric Berrick. I changed it. It's also 19. I also have it on a specific position, so it kind of goes a little bit above the bar itself, which is dark black, because this is a running theme. If you look at my unit frames, me and the target, the text goes a little bit above the top line. It's an aesthetic thing. You don't have to do it like that. That's what I like. This is what I like to have. This is what I like to do. You can copy the settings here, everything that you want, and it's going to be okay. There's extra things like damage done has an icon for some reason. I don't care about that. Buttons attached to the right. If you untick this, they're going to go to the left. They're under the writing right now. So again, if you put your detail windows to the left, you're going to have to click this. So, you know, it would be a mirror finish, basically. There's also other crazy goddamn things that you can do. You can ignore spells that people are doing. You can collect statistics, but we don't care about that. The only thing we care about is these settings right here in appearance and general settings. That's good enough. Text here for the title bar. Positioned, again, see position Y is 3, which means it sits slightly higher. Text size 16, Oswald again. Text shadow, very important. Look at damage done on the right. It becomes more readable if it has 1 pixel shadow. General windows. This doesn't really matter. You might work a little bit with scale to make it bigger or smaller the way you want it to. Strata here, it doesn't make any impact on your thing. You can have background texture here. Again, I have it slightly transparent like I told you before. These settings, you can just literally not do anything with them. Same thing. This is kind of interesting. So notice what I did here with automation. Top, I told you that I have exactly 3 windows. That is my limit. You saw it in the previous setting. I have only 3 windows here. So when I'm in combat, the top window is going to be damage done and nothing else. The reason for that is you have to click the individual click wheel here, see? And here in combat, this middle window called healing done is going to switch to healing done. And then the third one, if I click the settings right here, it's going to be damage taken. So you can also make them automate themselves, and they're going to switch automatically when you're in combat to the preferred thing. You can even track some ridiculous specific thing, like how many people get hit by anima during the Dark Animus encounter, by tracking the spell and having damage taken for specific spells in a custom-made details window. You can check for some very serious, very specific things. I just don't think it's interesting because you already have such detailed things that you don't even care. Like, it tracks everything. You can go here, you can check people's auras, see what kind of uptime they had, like how many times they used their synapse springs and stuff. You can see the spells that they used. Did they miss? Did they hit? Did they crit? You can do a lot of stuff with it. So by default, I'd say do not screw around. Just automate the windows. If you want to have 2 windows, have 2. If you want to have 16, have 16. Set them individually for your automation purposes like I did. Like go to damage done, go to healing done, go to damage taken, and you're going to be absolutely fine. Wallpapers. Are we really doing wallpapers? What the hell is going on? I don't even care. And streamer settings, again, event trackers and stuff. These might not work so well simply because, again, we might have some Lua differences between how Stormforge is coded and what retail 12 years ago was coded. Right. You can also have like announce interrupts. These are like the raid tools here are important because you can see if someone interrupted. Some people react better to like speech bubbles. Like if you have a speech bubble above your head saying, hey, I just used wind shear, then you're not so tempted to use your kick or your pummel or your skull bash. So these might be really good lifesavers for some people because they can see the bubbles, especially if they don't play with sound and they're focused on something else. You can also announce deaths. You can do a lot of things here with cooldowns. You can select which channel to pump those notifications. For example, you can have an instant chat is raid. So you can have interrupts and raid chat. You can have them in say. You can yell them and they're going to come out with red. You can specifically whisper a certain person. So if I, for example, wanted to do something that is not interrupts, I mean, interrupts, you could do it. Like if you're two guys trying to interrupt someone, like one of the council members in TOT, you could definitely just communicate with the guy. And whenever he gets a whisper, you would be able to say, hey, look, buddy, I actually used my interrupt. So you know that you're the next one to interrupt Sul, for example, right? It's something that you can do if you feel like it. Same thing with deaths, cooldowns. Again, I think this is probably something that you have to go with the cooldowns list. You have to like make it a specific thing here in order for this to work. But again, if you're just a regular guy and you like the way this looks, all you gotta do is just copy my settings. I will also leave an album of screenshots of my settings so you can't get lost. You don't have to watch the entire video. I drag on and on and on when I talk about this stuff. So yeah, you don't really have to care about that. You're good, right? Like this is all you gotta do. Like these settings here and these settings here. Maybe tooltips as well. That's all you gotta do. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you as always. Expect expect something for everything in my week aura, and I'm gonna say everything like there's quite a few things here to discuss. But once I'll be done, you're gonna be able to see everything that I got, everything that works, and hopefully just copy everything that you like, or maybe even improve it. And as usual, guys, if you see me in the game, just whisper me, okay? I'm not Shroud, I'm not XQC, I'm just a guy who likes to play the game. So just whisper me, hey, how do you do that? And I'll try to explain it to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.